Hello, everyone. Welcome to the recognition session for the school board on July 17th. I guess first of all, we have up the McKinley Elementary National Beta Club. And so Ms. Saunders, do you or anyone want to make an introduction? Sure, put you on the spot, of course. You can step to the mic so they can hear you.
We're on television. Come to the mic.
You're on television. Smile.
Yeah, come on.
I'm so sorry. I am Dr. Sanders, the principal of McKinley Elementary, and I would like to welcome our Beta Club winners. They went to Orlando, Florida, and they participated in the activities, and we have several students and groups that placed in Orlando, and I would like to give a big round of applause to Ms. Casey Weiler and Genesis Brown. Those are our Beta Club sponsors. Those are our wonderful teachers at McKinley, so give them a round of applause. And this is our Beta Club, and I want to also thank our parents for supporting our Beta Club at McKinley, and also my assistant principal, John L. Celestine. He attended the field trip with them, and if you are a parent at McKinley, please stand and be recognized and wave to the audience. And I would like to thank Superintendent Cole and Mr. Gode for inviting us and recognizing our wonderful students.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, I have a few questions. You have champion on yours. What are you champion of? Math. Oh, boy. That's great. And you have second. What did you play second in? A performing arts duo, second place. And how about you, second place? Created animation? Okay, and how about you? Painting? On-site painting. Ah, okay. Well, congratulations to all of you, and congratulations to all your parents working with them. I know this is not an easy thing to pull off. And as the husband of a woman who's gone on many field trips, thank you for doing that, because I know how difficult that can be. So thank you, and on behalf of the superintendent and the whole board, I'm gonna just present a whole bag full of medals to you so you can put them on and share. But it's appreciation medals honoring all of your hard work from the board and the superintendent. So congratulations.
Everybody right here. 1, 2, and 3. Good job.
And I even wore my blue suit.
Oh, there I know.
Come on, congratulations to all of you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
There she goes. There she goes.
Okay. Let's see. Next, we go to the BR STEM Fellows Summer Intensive. Intentives? Don't know what that says. We'll give people a chance to move here. Intensive. They got it misspelled here.
Okay. All right, so I want to thank Board Member Cliff Lewis for recognizing us. Baton Rouge STEM had 5 fantastic students, all from EBR schools. I'm going to ask if Ms. Jara Moton from Northeast, Ms. Ananija Hodges from McKinley, Jeremiah Cage from Madison Prep, Randy Heyman, who will be attending Liberty, and Nicholas Chesterfield, who will be attending Glen Oaks. To come up, please. They've just completed a rigorous 4-week program that ended on July 10th. It was focused on math and science enrichment, hands-on STEM training, and electrical, mechanical, and aeronautical engineering, along with coding, chemistry, biology, and agriculture. Beyond learning, they also facilitated STEM sessions for K-8 campers in aeronautical engineering, electrical engineering, and agriculture, which was truly empowering for the kids. They also researched college and careers, did ACT prep, and outlined capstone STEM projects for the 25-26 school year, which they will be submitting for state competitions. So thank you all.
Just a few words. I've got 5 medals here, everybody, okay? There was, some of y'all can remember, Whitney Houston had a song that said, "The children are our future."
George Benson.
George Benson. George Benson was the original. Whitney covered it. But in the song, it talks about the children are our future. You just saw the future walk out the door. You just saw the future stand up in front of you. STEM. STEM. You guys are the future of this city, of this country, of this state. And any of you, who's going to be an aeronautical engineer?
That's the best engineers that there are.
And if you get to be one and you get an airplane, just fly old Mr. Cliff around a little bit, okay? I'll be too old to work so I can fly and do all the other stuff with you guys. But again, thank you, parents, thank you for investing in your children because they truly are our future. Thank you, and thank you.
Well, Lord, how you know him?
Slide over just a little. There we go. Get centered. There we go. Look good. Look good. All right. All eyes up here. 1, 2, 3. All right. Thank you.
All right. I asked Mr. Gode for a personal privilege for this next organization that we're going to honor tonight. This organization has impacted over 10,000 students over the course of the last 31 years. They have reached across the entire capital region. Over the course of the last 3 years, they have won National Chapter of the Year 2 times, which is phenomenal. They have worked across over 55 different schools, most of which inside of the East Baton Rouge Parish school system, and have educated our kids, worked with our kids, and helped our district to grow as a whole. At this time now, I would like to call up the 100 Black Men of Metro Baton Rouge and his president and the CEO, Mr. Andre Harmon, to give some remarks. I'd like to also shout out Collegiate 100 from LSU, who also won National Collegiate Chapter of the Year.
Good evening, good evening. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Distinguished board, Dr. Cole, Dr. Smith, you guys are doing a great job. And of course, our favorite advocate, Mr. Lanus, thanks for suggesting that we get this honor on tonight. We also have our Collegiate 100, we have our African American History Challenge winners, and our Financial Literacy Program winners here too, locally. This moment represents more than just a photograph. It embodies unity, purpose, and the powerful legacy we are building together to empower the next generation. Each of you brings a wealth of experience, wisdom, and commitment to uplifting our communities through mentorship, education, economic empowerment, and health equity. I'm so proud to serve with these young men and some of the young ladies who actually help us pull this all together. And the one thing that he didn't mention was that we won Chapter of the Year out of 103 chapters in the United States, to include London, England. And the reason why I'm bragging on that, not just because I'm the president, but it represents EBR. How about EBR is being told and said something great about all across the country? Matter of fact, when we see what we see is what we be is our motto. We see Coach Lewis, we have a high school called Baton Rouge High. We have Scotlandville High. We have Park Forest Middle, Glen Oaks, Tara, Mayfair, Woodlawn, Broadmoor, Liberty. You see, we represent all of the districts, and we are so grateful and thank you.
Yeah.
All right. You ready? All right, 1, 2, 3.
All right, Bo. Thank you. I will do. You sure? You ought to know. You can call me anytime. If you need me, call me. No matter where you are. You no matter how far. That's all. Let me on 3. You can just tell them that we got a 3-minute intermission because it's still live right now. All right, this time now we're going to have a 3-minute intermission. We'll be right back at 5 p.m. inside of the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board. Boom. Board members, we'll be going live shortly. Make sure you're logged in if you aren't logged in.
Welcome. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming to our regular meeting, July 17th, 2025 at 5 p.m. We will have the invocation that will be led by School Board Member Mark Ballou and the Pledge of Allegiance that will be led by School Board Member Patrick Martin. Would you all please stand?
Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day, for our health, and the health of and safety of our students and members of our school system. Please help to keep them safe. As we have our meeting tonight, give us strength and help us to ensure our words, our actions, and our decision-making is guided by grace and wisdom and humility. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
All right. Thank you so kindly, everyone. Madam Secretary, can I have a roll call?
District 4, President Stewart.
Present.
District 7, Vice President Gode.
Present.
District 1, Mr. Blue.
Here.
District 2, Mr. Lannis.
Present.
District 3, Ms. Powell Lewis. District 5, Mr. Lewis.
Present.
District 6, Mr. Russ.
Present.
District 8, Ms. Sule. District 9, Mr. Martin.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Next, we have item B, meeting minutes, approval of the school board minutes of the June 5th, 2025 Committee of the Whole meeting and the June 12th, 2025 regular board meeting as published in the official journal. Do I have a motion? I'm sorry, any public comments? Nope, no board, no. Okay, any board comments? Madam Secretary?
Can we do a roll call? My computer shut down after you get a
Oh,
motion.
I forgot you showed me. Anybody? No motion?
I move to accept the minutes.
Okay, in a second? Okay, you got it? You and Nathan. Okay. Who was the second? Nathan. Mike and then Nathan.
And can we do a roll call?
Yeah, you can do it, yeah.
District 1, Mr. Blue?
Yes.
District 2, Mr. Lannis?
Yes.
District 4, President Stewart?
Yes.
District 5, Mr. Lewis?
Yes.
District 6, Mr. Russ?
Yay.
District 7, Vice President Gode?
Yes.
District 9, Mr. Martin?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving along to item C, information only, monthly financial report, and the personnel changes. Do we have anything, you want to present anything? No? Okay. Item D, receive as information, update from the superintendent. There you go, yours truly.
Good afternoon, everyone, board members, President Stewart, Vice President Gode, those of you who are at home for being back with us once again. As we prepare for the launch of the 25-26 school year, we plan to operate with a spirit of over-preparedness. Our preparation is just not about logistic. It's about reestablishing our standards and defines who we are and what we expect from our students and staff, as well as those who are in our school communities. Each of the reference actions tonight and tonight's update does this by addressing the core areas of our strategic plan. Under the area of student achievement, we are excited to share that all schools have successfully scheduled their beginning of the year orientations and meet and greet events. These events are key to building strong connections with our families and setting a positive tone for the year ahead. A comprehensive list will be posted on the website next week, and individual schools will be sharing details with families soon. The school level master scheduling is currently at 85% complete district-wide. All master schedules are expected to be finalized by July 23rd. 0 schools that have not yet finalized their schedules are receiving targeted support to ensure timely completion so that all enrolled students have schedules ready for the first day of school. I cannot stress to our families who are watching at home the importance of visiting your school to enroll as quickly as possible so we can get your child scheduled for his or her classes. If they particularly are in middle school or high school, we want to make sure that every student, when they show up on the first day of school, has a class schedule and can report to class as quickly as possible. We look forward to welcoming back our counselors on July 21st. At that time, high school counselors will begin auditing all senior transcripts and student records to assess progress towards graduation. Requirements, counselors will prepare to conduct individual meetings with seniors and their parents to review audit results and outline any necessary steps for graduation. One of the things we've heard consistently over and over is that some of our high school seniors find out far too late during the school year that they may not be on track for graduation despite any of the guidance they may have received. So we are encouraging our families and, more importantly, our students, when those individual meetings are scheduled to discuss your graduation, make sure you attend, pay attention, take notes, and adhere to what has been provided for you in terms of your graduation transcript and what you need in order to complete graduation during the course of the 25-26 school year. We want to ensure all of our seniors who enter on the first day as a senior student is able to graduate on time and walk across the stage with their peers and celebrate with their families. So please, seniors, make sure you visit those meetings, those individual meetings, not just the orientation with all of the seniors, but the individual conversation so you know exactly what you need. Trust me, you are not aware of what you may or may not need in terms of the changes that may or may not be coming as a result of the accountability system, so we want to make sure you get that information. We have 6 of our district schools: Melrose, Capitol Elementary, Capitol High, Marydale, Glen Oaks Park, and Glen Oaks High School will serve as Phase 1 sites of our new school start time initiative. Staff and school leaders continue to collaborate to ensure a positive first day experience for students. Particularly at some of our area high schools, we're in the process of scheduling community conversations so that we can share with the communities of the stakeholders of those schools, what the start time initiative is going to look like in preparation for the first day. If you want current information, that information is provided for you on our current website, and you can learn all about the school start times and some of the changes that have taken place for those 6 schools in particular. LEAP scores were released earlier this month. Parents who haven't already done so are urged to contact their child's school to pick up their children's score reports. Staff will share a detailed LEAP data report at the August CAL on district and state level results, and we will provide a very detailed report around the district and state results at the August CAL and the regular meeting in August. I want to make sure board members are aware of how we performed during the 24-25 school year, what it looks like, what are the indications from the scores, the components that contribute to the overall performance of a school district, as well as those components that contribute to the overall performance of a school. In addition to that, we definitely need to talk about in August the transition in the accountability system to the Grow, Achieve, and Thrive model of the accountability system, because things are going to change next year, and we have to have some very candid conversation about those changes in the accountability system and what it means for our overall school system. On the operational excellence, realignment continues. Currently, 18 of our 21 school moves have occurred at 82% completion rate. All moves are scheduled to be finished by July 23rd. Other rebranding, painting, and site upgrades are occurring as part of the realignment summer projects. As we continue to track our progress on our public-facing realignment dashboard, which you can see on the screen, 77% of our required tasks have reached completion status, and another 22% are on time for completion as of this morning. Staff continues to meet twice a week to monitor progress and directly address any delayed items as a result of late shipment of resources and tools or any weather delays that may have taken place in terms of our delivery of products, services, and moves. We look forward to opening the new Baton Rouge Center of Visual and Performing Arts. There was a group there on yesterday during a tour, and I do know that you all as board members have been contacted about taking a tour of the new building. It is beautiful, looks wonderful. The students and staff will move back home to the Acadian Drive location for the upcoming school year. Teams are completing final walkthroughs, and material moves will be occurring next week. Summer cleaning across the school sites continues as we prepare to welcome students back in August. Currently, over half the schools have reached 100% completion rates, with the remaining scheduled to be finalized by July 22nd. Facilities teams have blitzed individual sites for inspections within 48 hours of completion to verify and validate progress. I want to thank our facilities department in conjunction with HES, as well as our other partners who've assisted with moves, as well as the completion of our cleaning projects this summer, as well as the rebranding. It has been a total team effort, and I'm so proud of the team. Looking forward to the completion and being able to pop up, as you know I will, and visit schools to ensure that they are clean and prepared for the first day. I want to say thank you to the over 700 families who have already responded to the Transportation Department's opt-out survey. The survey is currently live on our website. Your participation supports efficiencies across our system by improving our routing and transport time for all students. Our transportation team is working hard to finalize routing, prepare the fleet, meet with drivers to prepare for a successful first day experience. So please, families at home, if you are choosing to opt out of the transportation service we are providing, make sure you inform us. We definitely want to make sure we're able to pick up students on the first day and deliver them to and from school. I'm happy to report we have 3 new collection sites that we have developed this year, working with our partners in the southeast region of our parish. We know that the collection sites are going to decrease the travel time for our students. So I want to thank Mr. Howell and his team for working really hard to establish those 3 new collection sites all over the parish. We are consistently working. There is a new Inspiration facility being developed on Windburn, and we are working with families to use that site as another collection spot so families don't have to travel so long, or children don't have to travel so long during their commute to and from school. And we think, working with our partners with Prismatic, we are doing and going to see a much better service in terms of our transportation, and we feel and hope that our families will be pleased. Again, we'll offer a survey to determine and get feedback from our families around how we are doing, and looking forward to continue that. Our community meeting on July 31st is scheduled at the McKinley High Alumni Center to talk about the new McKinley High School, which should be completed for the 27-28 school year. And we want to have a conversation to inform those stakeholders about what to expect for the 25-26 school year. Those students will be reporting to the old Kenilworth site, and we are working very diligently to ensure the campus is ready and prepared for the start of school. Mr. Gilbert want to make sure we add additional lighting, as we've discussed, on the campus to make sure we can keep our students safe. As we know, high school students oftentimes are at school in the afternoon and in the evening, so we are working to ensure and make sure that happens. Under the employment development area of our strategic plan, the district's annual retirement recognition celebration was held earlier today. Mr. Goday and I had an opportunity to attend and be with our retirees, and we thank them for their dedicated service and lasting contributions to our schools and community. We want to say today, thank you for your years of service, and we wish you well in your future endeavors. We learn that we have retirees who had 30 and over 40 years of service in East Baton Rouge Parish School System, and so many of them who came up to speak had nothing but positive things to say about their experience in our school system during their careers, and vowed to continue to stick around and volunteer. We know that they probably won't, but they say that they will, and so we're glad that they still have the energy to want to volunteer in our schools after having served so long. The Office of Human Resources hosted a successful mid-summer job fair on July 15th at the Instructional Resource Center, welcoming over 150 attendees to help address high-needs vacancies across the district. School leaders were on site conducting interviews and extending either immediate job offers or invitations to follow up at a school site interview to qualified candidates. We're still looking forward talented and dedicated individuals to join our team. If you're listening out there, we need you. Our students deserve the best. Board members, attached, you will find a report that gives you a little bit more detailed information about the staffing numbers at the schools, as well as the staffing numbers in those areas, and so it is attached to my report. The district's instructional and support staff is currently 96% staffed, with 161 vacancies remaining and 18 days left before school start. There are currently 104 teacher vacancies among these. Realignment schools are currently staffed at 91%, with 49 teacher vacancies remaining across these zones. The Office of Human Resources is implementing strategic hiring support to help fill remaining positions within the next 3 weeks. Please visit our website for a list of current job openings. We had over 200 retirees today. And so as folks transition away from our school system after serving for so long, we're seeking to fill many of those vacancies, particularly in the classroom. Some of those vacancies will not be filled, but the classroom vacancies we are seeking to fill, and I want to remind the public that as a result of the realignment plan and our desire to have 2 educators in the classroom at some of our foundational learning centers, as well as in other elementary classes, we are in need of more educators this year to ensure that we are preparing our students for what is to come. I can't stress to the community and the board enough the new accountability system that is going to be implemented this school year. And I want to make sure we carve out time and space for a very robust conversation next month. And many of our team members, Chief Edwards, Chief Okonski, and myself, and other members of the team, Deputy Superintendent Smith, will be doing a joint presentation to you around our scores and most importantly, what we need to do to prepare as we go forward in an effort to make sure our students are ready and understand the changes. A lot of good things are happening during the summer. A lot of positive work is happening. Leadership development is taking place. So we're excited about where we are, what we have the opportunity to do. As you all remember, I was appointed 2 days prior to school starting. And so having had all year to really observe, evaluate, analyze, work with, talk to, and be with our students, be with our teachers and our school leaders, make appropriate adjustments when necessary, provide support, and really talk about where the challenges are in our school system and how we improve. I'm excited about what's to come this school year. The realignment school zones currently are staffed at 91%. I can't stress to our families enough how important it is to be almost fully staffed in those zones, simply because we promised the community the moves we are making are going to be good for our students. Thank you so much for the continued support. Hopefully, I can make it back next month. So thank you very much, and I sincerely appreciate you all, and that completes my report.
Thank you, Superintendent, and you and all your staff for what you have put together and done thus far. Moving along to item E, we have reports from any of our board appointees that are to committees. Anybody need to make a report? No reports? Okay. Moving along to item F, the consent agenda, and you can have it, Mr. Russ.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Item F, a consent agenda. The following items are considered to be routine and will be enacted with one motion. There will be no separate discussion of items unless a board member so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered as an item on the regular agenda for a separate vote preceding the last item on the regular agenda. Item 1, Louisiana Compliance Questionnaire. Consideration of a request for the approval of the Louisiana Compliance Questionnaire as required for the 2024-2025 financial audit of the East Baton Rouge Parish School System. Item 2, Grants, Early Childhood. Consideration of a request for the approval of the following 2025-2026 early childhood grants. A, Cecil Picard, LA4, in the amount of $7,705,980 for high-quality pre-K instruction. B, Community Network Lead Agency, CNLA, grant in the amount of $371,831 to support the EBR Early Childhood Community Network. C, Ready Start Network grant in the amount of $100,000 for the Ready Start initiative. D, Early Childhood Education Fund grant in the amount of $41,126 to provide tuition assistance for birth to 3. Item 3, Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, Early Childhood. Consideration of a request for the approval of a Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, between the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board, lead agency, and the following. A, Greater Bridge Academy in the amount of $83,700. B, Kiddoscope in the amount of $55,800. C, Young Scholars Academy in the amount of $78,120. D, Little Dreamers Christian Academy in the amount of $111,600. Just Us, Just Us Childcare of Baton Rouge in the amount of $111,600. F, God's Little Angels Child Care Development Center in the amount of $55,800. G, South Baton Rouge Charter Academy in the amount of $223,200. H, Impact Charter School in the amount of $111,600 to expand early childhood seats. Funding source, Cecil J. Picard, LA4 grant. Item 4, Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, Junior Achievement. Consideration of a request for the approval of a Memorandum of Understanding between the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board and Junior Achievement of Greater Baton Rouge in the amount of $120,000 to provide support services for students. Funding source, Title IV. Item 5, Memorandum of Understanding, Dual Enrollment. Consideration of a request for the approval of the Memorandum of Understanding between the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board and the following. A, Baton Rouge Community College, BRCC, to provide dual enrollment courses and technical coursework as a renewal of the existing early college academy agreement for the 2025-2026 school year. B, Louisiana State University, LSU, to provide dual enrollment courses for the 2025-2026 school year. C, Southern University, to provide dual enrollment courses for the 2025-2026 school year. D, Southeastern University, SELU, to provide dual enrollment courses for the 2025-2026 school year. Funding source, General Fund. Item 6, Professional Services Contracts, Kids Orchestra. Consideration of a request for the approval of a professional services contract between the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board and Kids Orchestra in the amount of $445,000 to provide services for the Kids Orchestra after-school program for 2025-2026. Funding source, General Fund / Title IV. Item 7, Professional Services Contract, Arts Council of Greater Baton Rouge. Consideration of a request for the approval of a professional services contract between the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board and the Arts Council of Greater Baton Rouge in the amount of $65,000 to provide arts integrated instruction and programming. Funding source, Title IV. Item 8, Professional Services Contract, Volunteers in Public Schools, VIPS, VIPS. Consideration of a request for the approval of professional services contracts between the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board and Volunteers in Public Schools, VIPS, in the amount of $25,000 and $58,000 respectively for the Everybody Reads and Everyone Counts programs. Funding sources, Title I. Item 9, Professional Services Contract, City Year. Consideration of a request for the approval of a professional services contract between the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board and City Year in the amount of $390,000 to provide student success coach teams to support whole school achievement. Funding source, General Fund / Title I. Item 10, Professional Services Contract, BRYC. Consideration of a request for the approval of a professional services contract between the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board and BRYC in the amount of $786,385 to provide ACT preparation, the post-secondary access program. Item 11, Professional Services Contract, Center for High School Success. Consideration of a request for the approval of a professional services contract between the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board and Center for High School Success in the amount of $196,740 to provide high-quality training, coaching, technical assistance, data support, and resources. Funding source, Title I. Item 12, Professional Services Contract, Humanities Amped. Consideration of a request for the approval of a professional services contract between the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board and Humanities Amped in the amount of $120,000 to provide curriculum and instruction, classroom support, improving school climate, professional development, and positive behavior support. Funding source, General Fund. Item 13, Professional Services Contract, Amplify. Consideration of a request for the approval of the professional services contracts between the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board and Amplify in the amount of $154,000 to provide M-Class intervention site licenses related to Dibble's assessment. Funding source, EEF. Item 14, Professional Services Contract, Notable Inc., CAMI. Consideration of a request for the approval of a professional services contract between the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board and Notable Inc., CAMI, in the amount of $63,315 to provide an online annotation system. Funding source, General Fund, Technology. Item 15, Professional Services Contract, Nearpod. Consideration of a request for the approval of a professional services contract between the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board and Nearpod in the amount of $163,379.04 to provide K-12 supplemental curriculum platform and associated educational tools and resources. Funding source, General Fund. Item 16, Budget Supplement, HVAC Maintenance. Consideration of a request for the approval of Tax Plan Proposition 1 Budget Supplement Request to allow for additional funding in the amount of $29,637,880.96 to fund HVAC maintenance contracts and to send to the Oversight Committee for approval. Item 17, Professional Services Contract, HVAC. Consideration of a request for the approval of professional services contracts between the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board and the following. A, ENFRA MMC LLC in the amount of $1,742,392. B, Corporate Mechanical Contractors, Inc. in the amount of $1,803,444. C, Star Service, Inc. of Baton Rouge in the amount of $4,542,900 to provide facility HVAC maintenance to secure qualified service providers capable of maintaining and, where necessary, upgrading outdated HVAC equipment across district facilities. 18, item 18, Resolution Special Counsel. Consideration of a request for the approval of a resolution regarding the retention of Phelps Dunbar LLP as special counsel for the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board and related matters. Item 19, White Hills Lease, Geo Academies Louisiana, Inc. Consideration of a request to approve a lease with Geo Academies Louisiana, Inc. in the amount of $23,333 per month for 12 months to use the former White Hills Elementary facility to operate a Type II charter school. Item 20, 2025-2026 Student Rights and Responsibilities Handbook and Discipline Policy. Consideration of a request for the approval of the Student Rights and Responsibilities Handbook and Discipline Policy for the 2025-2026 school year for the East Baton Rouge Parish School System, with the addition of clarifying language under Section 10, making item F the new item D, and then continuing in progression with the remaining items and requiring 2 attempts to contact parents twice prior to the loss of privileges without proper notification. Item 21, Policy, JCDAE, Electronic Telecommunication Device. Consideration of a request for the approval of the policy JCDAE, Electronic Telecommunication Device. Item 22, Litigation. Consideration of a request for the approval of the recommendation from Gwen Shamlin, General Counsel, EBR PSB, in the matter of Murima Clifton versus East Baton Rouge Parish School Board, docket number 23-02759 and 24-00705, District 5, and related matters. Item 23, Litigation. Consideration of a request for the approval of the recommendation from Gwen Shamlin, General Counsel, EBR PSB, in the matter of Edwards et al. Versus East Baton Rouge Parish School Board, LDE log number 34-H-18, DAL docket number 2024-0707-DOE-IDEA, and related matters. I so move.
Ooh, thank you, Mr. Russ. Are there any, if there are any items that the board wishes to remove from the consent agenda to speak about separately? Okay.
No, I'm trying to get back to that screen. I'm sorry. Give me 2 seconds. Item 6 and 10.
So items 6, which is the professional services contracts with Kids Orchestra, and item 10, which is professional services contract with BRYC. So those 2 have been requested to be removed. Are there any other items? Okay. So is there a motion for Mr. Russ? And who, did somebody else second? Okay, so Blue seconded. So do we have any public comments?
No public comments. Point of information, so we're voting on the consent agenda with 2 items pulled?
Yes,
Okay.
which is 6 and 10.
Okay, thank you.
So Russ and then Baloo did the motions. No public comment, any board comments? Madam Secretary. Oh, okay.
Please vote. The motion carries.
Thank you. Moving along to item 6, professional services contract, Kids Orchestra, consideration of a request for the approval of a professional services contract between East Baton Rouge Parish School Board and Kids Orchestra in the amount of $445,000 to provide services for the Kids Orchestra after-school program for 2025-2026, funding source general fund. Do I have a motion?
Move approval.
I have a motion by Mr. Martin, then do I have a second? Russ? Oh,
Okay.
oh, no, one of them,
Beat you to it.
Lannis. Do I have any public comments? Martin and Lannis. Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Lewis.
Yeah, we're pulling this item. You know, we've gone through, and you'll hear this again, we've gone through a long, intense process the past 6 or 7 months. We've gone through schools consolidations, closures, all under the reason we did that is because we're working to streamline our district. We're working to be able to provide more resources for our students and for their families. And I think the fact that we want to spend $445,000 for an after-school program is not being good stewards of our money. We have a fine arts program. Those dollars, in my opinion, will be better used to service all of our kids across the district and not just a select few in an after-school program. I'm done.
Thank you. Mr. Lannis?
Thank you. I'll piggyback on a lot of what Coach said, but I want to go a little bit more in depth. Inside of our BRYC network, we have over 100 organizations, most of which are nonprofit. The space of nonprofit organizations is to raise their own money. The reason why I bring this up is because we set a new precedent whenever we tell organizations that we're going to cover basically your general budget. That's not what our school system is intended to do. That's not how we are designed. And if we're going to do it for one organization, why are we not doing it for other organizations? So I think that this conversation needs to go a bit further. I have nothing or no quarrel with Kid Orchestra or BRYC, because I'll bring up the same communication, or I'll bring up the same message whenever we cover those items. But if we're going to do this every year inside of our budget, this is going to present a huge problem for us. We gave $400,000 last year under the caveat that we'll see some more fundraising take place. That hasn't happened. I want to know what skin is being brought into the game if you're going to be inside of our schools, bringing programs inside of our schools to show that you have a real effort. Because what happens in the instance that our school district goes through a serious budgetary issue like we did over the course of the last few years, now you're cut, or we have to cut the program, and students are going to lose those types of programs because of the impacts that we have to prepare ourselves for. Again, I have nothing against Kids Orchestra, but I think this has to be a larger conversation as we move forward. And I also think that we should give our superintendent the option to say, okay, how do we motion and move our budget if we're going to be working with other organizations, more specifically nonprofits? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lannis. Are there any other board comments? And I'll just piggyback on those sentiments as well with the concerns of some of my colleagues. And quite a few of us, of course, on the board are new, and when we came into the board, we wanted to take a dive into a lot of the various contracts that the school system has. And of course, we've made the notion to say that we would try to be better stewards and be diligent as it relates to the management of the funds. And so I agree with the awesome work that these companies are doing, but I also am in agreement as it relates to identifying the best way to spend our monies. And if there are better options, I'm open to looking into it. And so just wanted to kind of make that comment. Mr. Russ.
Yeah, thank you. I first, I'm curious, and I guess I would question why none of these concerns came up in committee, which is the meeting that we have to discuss matters like this. I'll also point out that, declining or delaying this program, weeks before school starts is going to cause a serious operational issue. We have had this happen before with Kids Orchestra, and they made it pretty clear that if they weren't able to start enrolling kids when parents seek to put their kids in after-school programming, that they're not going to be very successful, and that's exactly what happened at those schools. I'll also point out that, a large majority of these schools that are proposed to be served are in the north part of our parish, where we have a lot of underserved kids, and it has a great impact on the academic success of those kids. A lot of these schools, as proposed, are hubs that last year we, I believe, pledged to provide transportation to get more kids involved in this program. I would ask, I guess just for a point of clarification to the superintendent, this item was placed on the agenda, and I believe this is your recommendation that we continue this program and funding, correct?
Correct.
I also understand that we are in a budget that approved a $4 to $5 million surplus this year. Is that correct?
I think so. Kelly would have to tell me for sure, but I think so.
Yeah, so I really can't see a logical reason why suddenly we're deciding to pull this contract, if that is the wish of some members of the board outside of just picking on a contractor. Thanks.
Mr. Martin.
Thank you. I second Mr. Russ' concerns that the committee of the whole is where I would normally expect these kind of issues to be brought up. We have a budget. It's within the budget. The superintendent has recommended this. As Mr. Russ points out, this serves predominantly students that are in under-resourced areas of our communities, and these are more resources going to that area. So I would support the funding of this item.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Mr. Lannis.
Thank you, Madam President. Let me give further clarification. Since the conversation is on the floor, I don't think this is picking on anyone, but if you're going to talk about programming inside of schools, let's talk about important programming. We have had a problem with safety and crime inside of our communities, as well as what's spewing over inside of our schools, yet we brought nothing forth that talks about how we fix that inside of North Baton Rouge. I have, again, no problem with Kid Orchestra or the other organization, but it is not the school system's budget that is supposed to cover them if they're coming into our district. Furthermore, as I said before, there are other organizations who have also applied for dollars who have been turned down in the past. Have these not been anything that has been taken into consideration? Are those organizations not trying to work inside of North Baton Rouge schools? Are they not trying to reach the same type of kids? These aren't duplications of services, and let's say it is a duplication of services. Why not share the dollars? We gave $400,000 just last year. Are there not other organizations that could do the same thing? Is it not okay for us to go talk to those organizations that have communications? Or if we're going to give this kind of money, why not put out an RFP to make it a fair process rather than going with the same organizations every single year? It sends a bad precedent across our community when we do those types of things. Nobody is ostracized in these organizations, by the way. They do phenomenal work. They do a great job. but fair is fair. And I think that if we're going to do this for 1 or 2 or 3 organizations, I think you open a door to look at all organizations that can provide services to make all of our schools better, and not just in North Baton Rouge schools, because I feel like that's picking on certain board members because they have concerns. I think if you're going to do it for certain schools, let's do it for all schools, but if you are going to do it, let's do so where we're working within our budget. Since we said we got a budget surplus, right? The last conversation I just had was, well, let's let the superintendent go back and let's rework it so now we can include more organizations that can provide more services for our school district rather than going with a few. I'm open to that. I have no problem with that. In fact, I'm willing to vote on it. But if we're not having that conversation, we got to change the things that we're doing because it's not fair. And I'm sure there'll be other organizations coming inside of the school, some coming inside of the school board office saying, why were we not selected? Why is our organization not mentioned? Because it's not a fair process. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lannis. Mr. Lewis?
Again, no one's picking on Kids Orchestra. And I've made this comment up here several times. What appears to be the first national bank of EBR schools is closed. It's closed. Kids Orchestra, let's look at Mr. Joffrion's fine arts programs. They say they want to serve 425 kids. Well, that's $1,000 a kid. Mr. Joffrion doesn't spend $100 of a kid. His budget is about, and Kelly can correct me if I'm wrong, about $200,000 to serve 30,000 kids. If you look at the breakdown, the magnet schools have everything. The non-magnet schools, they may have band, they may have drama, they may have dance. They're not able to reach all the kids for budgets. We did talk about transportations. There were school buses with 10 kids on it. I saw a video of one of our schools, 4 kids playing oboes. They weren't even holding them correctly. Sounded like a bunch of cats screaming. We've got to be better stewards of our dollars. We've closed and consolidated schools so we can distribute the resources equitably across the board. And giving one organization $425,000 one year, $45. And then you gave them $400,000 last year. When is enough enough? We are not your funders. We have 30,000 children to be concerned about. 30,000. We're not your funders. Like Mr. Lannis said, we're willing to work with everybody. But don't keep coming to us every year with your hat in your hand, thinking that we're going to be your funder. That ain't happening. If there's any English teachers in the room, I'm sorry. I know that's not good English, but it's the truth. We're not going to fund your organization year in and year out. You do good work. But I think we can do better. We can take that money and we can use it in a way that all the kids are served equitably across the board. Now, equity at WHAM may not look like equity at Westdale. When I took this seat, and I've been talking about equitable funding since I've been up here. And I will talk about it until I leave. Nearly $500,000 for one organization just don't cut it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Mr. Gode?
Yes, thank you. Lots of thoughts on this item. I agree wholeheartedly that many of these things we need to take a second look at and walk through. However, right now, I'm a little concerned about the timing of this. To me, this is a discussion that should, we're revising our budgetary process and doing a lot more work to align our budgets with our strategic objectives and goals. And I believe we have a budget workshop scheduled in November. And to me, that would be the proper time to discuss all of this. Waiting till now, right before school starts, puts everybody up against a hard spot without the ability to really be able to talk through and get information about this. The best I can see from the from websites and stuff like that is the cost for Kids Orchestra is about $2,000 per kid. So this number represents about half of the cost of providing those services to the kids. So it's not paying for the whole thing, it's about half the cost. Now, it's a legitimate argument. Should we pay for half the cost or not? That's a discussion I'm perfectly willing to have. I just have a problem having this at the end of July when we're going into a budget. And if we vote this down, it's 60 days before we can bring it back up, which effectively I think would put it out of service for this coming year. So I think the discussion is very well worth having. I would welcome it. I would welcome it where we can have a more open forum to discuss it, where Kids Orchestra is here, and perhaps other people who are interested in providing these services could be here to talk through it. So I fully appreciate and fully respect your opinions on this. I share some of the same ones. My only issue is I don't think this is the time or the place to be able to do this right now, right at the beginning of the school year, because effectively it would kill the program for the school year, and all those kids that would have benefited from it would not. So my suggestion would be to let's go ahead. This is a continuing program I think has been in place since 2010. Let's go ahead and approve it for this year and put it on the docket to make sure that we get a healthy discussion in November about what we're going to do with it going forward, where we can have a discussion with our partners and other potential partners and try to reach something that we feel is good for everybody and everyone involved as we go through this. Because I fully recognize we cannot be the major funder. I don't think that's the case in Kids Orchestra. I think we're less than 50%, but be that as it may, I don't have all the information in front of us. So I welcome the discussion. I welcome the debate. I just don't think now is the time to have it. And I'm going to support this measure, and I would hope that you would too, with the caveat that this is one of the deep discussions we have in November when we start talking about priorities and goals and how these things match what we need to do. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gode. Mr. Martin?
Thank you, Madam President. I think Mr. Gode makes some excellent points, and I agree with them wholeheartedly. I also agree with Mr. Lannis's comment regarding some kind of RFP or selection process, and I've been pushing that. I had conversations with both Interim Superintendent Smith and Superintendent Cole over the past, about a year ago, where I said several times that what we need to do with all of these kind of contracts, because this is not the first time that we as a group have debated this particular contract and the next one on the agenda and others. And to my mind, the appropriate path for the board to take in our role as policymakers and resource allocators is to say, we want to spend $1 million on arts enrichment, for example, right? That's the budget category. And then the superintendent and staff should go and say, okay, we're going to, to outside vendors, right? Not internally, to outside vendors, $1 million, that's our budget. And then they go and say, hey, we're going to award money, grants, contracts, whatever you call it, for these services. You send us a proposal. And then the professional staff can score those and rank those and decide if they're cost effective, if we're getting a bang for a buck. Is $1,000 per student being served too much, too little? I agree, we should not be the funder of the Bank of East Baton Rouge Parish School System, but we should also pay the fair cost for services that are provided to our students. So I think that we should, for the reasons Mr. Goday outlines, support this item tonight. Particularly given the long history that we have with Kids Orchestra, and then ask the superintendent to bring us a proposal for how to handle these contracts next year in a way that would make sure that it's open to everybody. And if it's not too late, by all means, if we want to consider at the next meeting, if other vendors in this space are out there that would also like to provide services, as we've heard, we've got a surplus, have them come to the next meeting and present it to staff, and let's consider that then. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Mr. Ballou?
Yes. When this item was presented to the committee of the whole, I believe, Madam Secretary, the vote was 8-0 to recommend approval to the full board. Okay. So it was recommended 8-0, plus we had the item and the material well in advance of the meeting. We talked at the end of the committee of the whole, there were several comments praising the board members for asking questions ahead of time and being prepared. None of this came out during the committee of the whole, and it now we've got a situation where we have 2 board members gone today that had previously voted to recommend that the board approve it. At this late time, I would, if we don't have the votes for it, I would recommend that we, I'd offer a motion that we move it to the next board meeting and vote on it then.
Go ahead, Mr.
So that would be a substitute motion
Yes.
to defer to the next regular board meeting.
Yes.
Is there a second?
All right. Well, I would just point out also that, I mean, programs aren't for everybody, and we've got sports programs that at each school that we spend a good bit. Not everybody participates or are interested. We've got various arts programs, and not everybody's interested. I know when we discussed this last year, the Kids Orchestra said they'd selected schools where they had enough interest and they could arrange transportation, but Superintendent Cole, are there any students that I'll excluding Northeast, who's too far away to participate, are there any schools that, or any students that are not able to participate if they want to?
No, sir. We worked with the organization and staff looking at the schools they worked with last year where they had the most success and determined what schools would be included this year.
And now is the contract that's being proposed, does that limit the number of students that can participate, or is this an estimated amount?
Well, it's an estimated number up to that $445,000 amount, and we only paying for the students they serve up to that amount.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. I obviously I support it. I think this is too late to pull the approval, and when we had already talked about it at the committee of the whole and unanimously agreed that it should be recommended for approval. So, thank you.
Point of clarification. I'm sorry, Madam President. Attorney Shamlin, if this item fails tonight for lack of votes, we can bring this item back next month with the caveat that we would need a 2/3 vote of the board, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So I said it to say, that we give this enough time to have discussion, even if it does die tonight. Allow the superintendent to have the discussions that he needs to have, and if we need to bring this back, we still can. And we do so in a way that we don't have to wait 60 days and students can still receive services. I just wanted to make sure we can clarify that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lannis. Are there any other board comments? Madam Secretary.
Please vote. Motion fails.
Okay, moving along to item 10, professional service contract BRYC, consideration of a request for the approval of a professional services contract between East Baton Rouge Parish School Board and BRYC in the amount of $786,385 to provide ACT preparation, the post-secondary access program, advising services across 10 high schools, and quarterly professional development workshops, funding source, supplement, course allocation. Board comments. Coach Lewis.
I guess I'm up first.
Well, they don't have any. In a board, in no online comments, okay.
Oh, okay. Again, another good organization. They've got the data to back up what they, to back up what they do or what they've done. But let me go backwards. I think it was our first year up, we gave them $1.1 million, $1.5 million. Last year we gave them another, $900,000? Now they're back again asking for $786,000. When is enough enough? Again, they do good work, but and they've had some success with raising ACT scores. But I don't see I don't see where this organization has done anything to improve us district-wide. We're concerned about everybody who has to take the ACT. We need district-wide growth, not just selected few people. Now, I looked into Q&A and the way they choose their students. Administrator, guidance counselor, and their staff. I don't think they're picking, I think they're picking kids who are going to college anyway. I don't see them picking Johnny over in the corner with a 1.2, with a 2.1, and somebody on the other side of the room with a 2.8. That's the kid they're going to select. I may be wrong. If I am, I am. Now, this year, they're talking about expanding into other high schools. What's to say that that's going to help us grow district-wide? We can take this money, put our own ACT program into place. We can use these dollars. We can embed we can have ACT prep embedded into our daily curriculum, what they learn every day in math, science, English. And it can be taught every day as part of what they do on top of ACT. Over $500,000, we can hire ACT prep teachers. I don't think they have the magic bullet for helping kids improve ACT, but again, I know these are our students. We need to improve district-wide, not just a select few students. If this passes tonight, that's in excess of $3 million. We would have given one organization $3 million. What can we do with $3 million? Again, fiduciary responsibility. We're going to make sure that our resources are used to best serve all of our children, not just a select few, all of them. $500,000, we can do a lot to address deficiencies across the board for all of our students.
Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Mr. Russ?
Thank you. Superintendent Cole, am I correct in that the funding for this program that we're proposing to BRYC is through a grant?
Correct. It's through dollars that have to be used for various different topics or areas, and this is one, ACT is one of the areas.
Okay. So if we decided to allocate this towards staffing, does that fit within that grant
No.
requirement?
No, sir.
Okay. And if we suddenly had $786,000 additional dollars to spread across staff, are we fully staffed for the start of school?
No, sir.
So if we decided to turn those dollars into positions for ACT instructors, they would be vacant, correct? Today?
Yes, if we took those dollars and turned them into vacant, yes.
Because we don't have enough certified teachers to fill our classrooms today, correct?
Correct.
Correct. We're still hiring.
Correct.
Okay. Am I correct in that increasing ACT scores across the district is part of your professional contract with this board? Is it also part of our strategic plan?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I would caution and encourage our board, based on the concerns that I'm hearing both with this item and the previous item, to think very clearly about how we are asking our superintendent to accomplish the results in his professional contract and in our strategic plan. We have talked for nearly 3 years about how we want to do business as a board, in being policymakers, in working on a strategic plan we all agree on, and setting clear defined goals for our superintendent and asking him to decide how to accomplish those goals. Now, him and his staff have decided, and very appreciative for me, they found outside money to fund a very successful program for our students. If you look at the data, what BRYC has done so far, it is very successful. We are not equipped to provide to our students the level of service that BRYC is currently providing to our students. If we decide that we would like to do that, that's a great discussion to have with your superintendent. But this is the solution that he is proposing for this school year. And he's doing it by taking state money to do it that doesn't come out of our general fund. Why are we trying to cut off our nose to spite our face? This is money that doesn't come from our local taxpayers. It's state money. Why would you deny these kids the opportunity to succeed because you have a philosophical conundrum about how money's being spent across the district, when we just went through a budget process that I will add was unanimously approved, and I heard very little discussion about how much fine arts money was in the budget or how much money was allocated for ACT prep or procurement processes. But yet now that we have these two particular contracts that we bandy over every single year, you want to pull it at the last minute. Frankly, to me, it's nonsense. And I can't see why we would rob kids of the opportunity to learn and to grow when it's not even coming out of our general budget to a very successful organization. If you have a problem with how business is being done in this district, you've got an employee right here you can go talk to, and you don't have to do it at the general board meeting when it's time to get this stuff done. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Russ. Mr. Martin?
Why do we pay them every year? Because they teach new students every year. Your boss gave you a salary last month. Why does he need to pay you for this month? He paid you last month. They keep providing services to the students. The first year that we voted on this contract, it was about $1.5 million, something like that. Yeah.
Are you talking just to me, or are you talking?
No, I'm talking to everybody. I'm talking to everybody. Well, I'm talking to everybody, but I'm addressing your point. Okay. $1.5 million. And we expressed some of the same sentiments, several board members expressed some of the same sentiments that time that we did tonight, right? There's a lot of money. We shouldn't be funding everybody and 100% of their expenses. And so what did BRYC do? They went back and they found a big grant from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, I believe, big grant. And the next year, they came back and they asked us for $750,000, $780,000. And the first year, we also told them, well, we don't like, some of us don't like the fact that all of your, that you only provide services off-site. We want to see some stuff that is in our schools to make sure that you're serving our students and not some private school students, not subsidizing work for fancy private school students or something like that. And so they came back and they delivered and they developed a new model for their services provided in our schools, which is, I assume, what they're doing again this year. They've done everything that we've asked for them. We're not providing their whole budget. They have been tremendously successful in the work that they've done. They are, in fact, getting kids to college who would not otherwise go to college, not because they're not bright, but because they don't realize what the steps that they need to follow in order to get to college. Right? They come from families that don't have any experience with college. They don't know how to send in the application letter or whatever. They don't know that. The BRYC counselors, among many other things, help them with that process. They are serving our kids, the kids that we want to serve, the kids that need our help the most. And so I think this is a very important contract that we have. If we want to take, if we can really provide an equivalent service to all of our kids for $700,000, let's take $700,000 from the surplus and spend it on that. But as Mr. Russ points out, we can't fill all the teacher slots that we have right now. We will by the time school starts, I'm confident, but it's hard to find teachers out there at the salaries we can pay, and this is not going to make a dent in overall teacher pay. This is an important contract that is serving kids who need our help. The difference between a smart kid who's passionate and driven, who has all the capabilities to succeed in college, but doesn't have the help, the individualized help he needs to figure out, or she needs to figure out how to get there. And it's also helping kids who would be going to maybe Southeastern or Southern or LSU who actually are smart enough and with the right help can get into an Ivy League school. It's helping those kids too, which is a great thing for this district. So I strongly support this and I encourage each of you to support it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Mr. Lannis?
Superintendent Cole, this is a grant that is not coming out of our general budget?
This is SEA funding, supplemental course allocation funding that has to be used for this very specific purpose coming through the MFP dollar, but it has to be used for this specific purpose, SEA.
Superintendent Cole, when the budget was created, did it specify who would get what amount of money, when, and where? Or was the contract, did the contractors come after we had actually approved the budget?
A combination of both.
Okay. Is there only one organization that does ACT prep and does it very well inside the city of Baton Rouge, East Baton Rouge Parish, or the parish of East Baton Rouge Parish?
No, sir.
Okay. So I'm hearing the comments tonight that I guess there's only one organization that can do ACT prep and do it very, very well. I'm hearing that we can't have this discussion moving forward and we can't go out and try to find another organization that can do the same thing. In fact, that was one organization that just came here and got recognized tonight for providing free services to over 55 schools, most of which are inside of East Baton Rouge Parish. And they do it for free. Oh, yeah, another caveat. On average, they're raising ACT scores at some of your lowest performing schools by 3 points, and they're doing it for free. Nobody is coming and trying to attack BRYC. Let me make that very clear, because I don't think that's coming through abundantly clear right now, because certain people have certain affiliations with certain organizations, so they feel like the organization's being attacked because they do good work and they deserve to get money from the East Baton Rouge Parish school system. A whole lot of people do good work amongst East Baton Rouge Parish school system. I was just talking to somebody the other day, AMI kids. They work with some of the lowest performing kids inside of our district. You know how much money they get from us? Let's take Humanities AMP. They asked for 55,000. That's not majority of their general fund budget. Nobody's picking on anyone, but make the processes fair. You said you want an RFP process. Guess what? Let's not wait till next year. We don't have to wait till November. We can start this next month if you want to go into organizations. But don't try to ostracize school board members because they want to relay and bring up good points about the way that we're spending money. Because this whole thing just took place last year. From there, we came up with a transparency of school funding policy. None of this discussion, because we bring it to the budget. None of this was discussed when we approved the budget. But we did say we're going to put enough line item dollars in there to go towards specific things. One of which, fine arts. Another one, ACT prep. And no time did I hear it, and Coach, you correct me if I'm wrong. Did you hear anything about any contracts or any specific contractors that were going to get the dollars on those line items? But we're going to talk about the budget. Yes, we did approve it unanimously. The reason why? Because we believed in it, just like we believe in our superintendent. What we're saying right now is that there are other organizations around our community who don't get the same fair shot, and it's not fair. Not taken away from BRYC. I love BRYC. You can ask Lucas. I'm one of his biggest supporters. But the facts are the facts. Real is real. And if we're going to have a discussion about it, I'm willing to have an open discussion about it. But there are other organizations doing similar things that can do phenomenal work inside of our district if we just give them a chance. Not knocking them, not even saying I'm gonna hold them up, but the conversation has to be had. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Landis. Mr. Lewis?
First of all, I'm not attacking BRYC, and I'm not cutting my nose off to spite my face, and I don't think anything's comical or funny or anything about it. I don't think anything's funny neither. But I know we're not going to sit here every year and dole out $500,000, $1 million to one organization. Are you trying to tell me that we don't have teachers in EBR that can teach and help kids with ACT? You trying to tell me that our teachers aren't qualified? That they can't do it? You trying to tell me that we can't embed ACT testing in the daily curriculum? They do it at Baton Rouge High. They do it at Liberty. We can do the same thing at Broadmoor and Tara and everywhere else. It has to be a priority. We've got to stop looking outside of our own doors. Superman ain't coming. We got to save ourselves. And the way we save ourselves is we help our kids. We work within this organization. We've been tasked with educating children. And I understand outside, I think BRYC does a good job. But we're not going to sit here year in and year out when we have other organizations, we have other people qualified in this district that can do the same thing. It just needs to be done. It needs to be a priority. And we got to stop trying to give we got to stop looking for an answer from outside. Let's look for an answer inside. Mr. Cole, can ACT prep be embedded in the daily curriculum?
Yes.
Can we have, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, the series of questions are
coming fast and furious?
No, are stated in a way that my responses are in agreement to the questions that are being asked. But let me say it this way. Coming into the role as superintendent and evaluating some of the partner organizations we have who are working with our students, it was incumbent upon me and staff to work with those partner organizations to determine how best they could provide those services going back to the relationship they've had with the district prior to me coming here. To everyone's point, the reality for me is that when we can, we should be investing dollars into our students by way of internal staff when we can. And when we cannot, we must seek external partners who can then provide those services at a high level. And so based on what existed coming in and then thinking about how do we go forward, we evaluated what monies We had to spend on other district priorities that are in alignment with our strategic plan. And then we looked at how we could use funding sources that are earmarked specifically for various different topics that we need to use in order to better serve our students. As a result of those conversations and looking at what organizations existed and then thinking about what policies we have as it relates to how we engage, we made the recommendation based on who have shown a significant amount of success with our students. And so we were able to bring those recommendations to the board. So to immediately answer your question, if the board gives me the directive to go back and develop an internal plan, I am 100% certain we can work with our internal teachers to do so. On the other side of that, Mr. Lewis, the directive was to make the recommendations based on the strategic plan that we believe are going to best serve our students at the current time. And so the recommendations that we brought forth are based on that process. If we change the process, which we may, no guarantee, but we may change the recommendation. But currently, based on the process we have, what has worked, the funding sources where we are, and aligning with our strategic goals, we made this recommendation. So to answer, I just wanted to say that, I felt a need to say that, but to answer your immediate question, particularly based on the way you're asking it, yes, we could do that internally if we need to.
Then I think we should. Internally.
And I've said this time and time again, at times jokingly, but in all seriousness, as we work together, superintendent and board, ultimately as we work together to make decisions and we set our priorities, which then by way of those priorities being set and approved in the strategic plan, I am given directives to go through and make sure we adhere to the plan. And so this is what we've done. When we reconvene this fall at our retreat, if we change processes, then we will govern ourselves accordingly internally to do so.
Done. Thank you, Mr. Lewis. Mr. Gode.
Thanks. Some of the same comments I made on the last item. This is July. We had the ability to discuss these many times. Has not been done. I think it's a discussion very well worth having, and I fully respect the views of some of my colleagues that we maybe should do things differently. But there is a time and a place for a lot of things, and this isn't the time and place for this one because unlike Kids Orchestra, which is an important, but it is an extracurricular activity, this is much more direct for our students. And delaying the start of this will have a direct impact on our students. And so I don't think this is a good idea for us to try to do this after we've gone through committee of the whole where it was unanimously approved and then talking about this. Now we're trying to bootstrap something in where there's no one here to talk for the program, there's no one here to rebut things, and there's no one here to be able to give us more information about it. Second thing is, I think it was Board Member Martin that made the point that we hire a superintendent to do these things. Do we want to get into the period where we micromanage how we do every contract? We're supposed to be a policy setting board. We set a policy that ACT scores and these other things are important to what we want to do. The superintendent found the money to do it, and this is his recommendation on how to do it the best. If we want to play 9 superintendents and have him not do anything, hey, we can do that, but it won't be very successful. Another point is we talk about the ACT prep. This is 1,300 seniors in here. They talked about serving for the ACT prep. It's going to be open for everybody. The materials will be open for everybody, and our teachers and our students and everything will have the ability to do that. So this is not just a little program that looks just at the kids going to college. This is a much broader program. Another point I'd like to make is ACT scores have been a problem for us for years. We also just got the LEAP scores back, and the LEAP scores are not that great, and we haven't made the progress we want to do. So now here we ought to be taking our teachers' times and pulling them away from teaching the basic things that they need to be able to pass LEAP scores and do those things and concentrate more on ACT prep. We don't have the bandwidth, the manpower, or the time to be able to do that internally right now. If all of our kids were at mastery and above, I'd be the first one saying we need to go do it. What we need to focus on right now is getting our kids to mastery and pulling them off to do ACT prep when we can pay someone else to do it. Not an outrageous fee. If you talk about 1,300 kids, it's not that much money when you divide it into, that's like less than, what, $5,000 a kid for the full ACT prep. And that's more than just ACT prep. That covers the other things. So I think we're being a little bit naive and say we could do this internally, because we don't have the skill set, we don't have the manpower, we don't have the training and anybody to do this. If you want to do it internally, fine. Let's direct the superintendent to come up with a program, to come up with the resources, to come up with the things to do it, and he can prepare for this next year and do that. And then the following year in 26, 27, we can look at that and see if we want to do that and go forth or not. But to pull this out from under the rug of everybody at the last minute is doing a disservice to the kids that they can have. Is this the best way we can do it? I don't know. I'm not qualified to make that judgment. But what I am qualified to say is I think if we pull this, we're hurting kids. And we can start with the next year at the retreat, as he talks about. We can discuss this into ad nauseum and work through it to find out what would be the best way to do it. But pulling it right now at this stage of the year hurts kids. And I don't want to hurt the kids. And I don't think there's any argument anybody can make following me that would say this would not hurt kids. Because they need to start day one, they need to be enrolled, and they need to be working on these kinds of things. And, you know, BRYC is going, I'm sure, on our best intentions on doing this. You know, one of the things we've been trying to do, and I realize I'm almost out of time, I'm going fast. One of the things we've been trying to do is get these contracts up early enough so that our partners in the community can have confidence in their funding sources to know, you know, people they can hire, people they can do, and all these sorts of things. I don't think we could do what they're doing internally for this amount of money. If you got to go out and hire people and do these kinds of things, and don't tell me the people we got can do it, because, again, we haven't reached mastery on all the levels of the things that we need to be teaching them. So this needs to be over and above what we got today. And if we want to do it internally, fine, but we need to be at a program. We need a funding for the program. We need to see what that funding looks like and how it goes. In the meantime, I want my teachers, or our teachers, working on developing mastery in the subjects they need to do, passing the LEAP test and doing those things. And I recognize a couple of schools like Baton Rouge High may have their own ACT prep. They're dealing with a select group of kids, and they've been doing it for years. We can't take what's being successful in Baton Rouge High and in 2 weeks duplicate it at our other schools. They perfected it over the terms of years. So I think we're being short-sighted if we try to pull this at the last minute. I fully understand and respect the arguments and the feelings of fellow board members on this. But again, I don't think this is the time or the place to do it. Happy to have the discussion as it pertains to next school year, but we hurt kids if we don't go forward with it this year. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gaudet. Mr. Ballou?
Thank you. I don't think there's a lot more to say on the topic, but I agree that this is a conversation we need to have, but at the appropriate time. I don't think now at the last minute is the appropriate time when, at the very least, we had the Committee of the Whole last week and had a chance to have this conversation when people were here to answer questions. And the committee passed it 8-0. It was unanimous to recommend approval of the items. The superintendent says this is, in his opinion, based on his review, opinions, recommendations by staff, that this best serves the kids. This is our best option. we as board members there may be some that want to question it, which is fine. That's our role, is to ask questions, find out how he came about the decision. But, I trust the superintendent, and I think it's too late in the game to now decide that we're not going to take this money and we're going to come up with something else on the fly. So I hope we can support this motion and get it passed.
There isn't a motion yet. You want to make one?
Motion by Baloo, is there a second? Second by Mr. Martin. I have one more comment in the queue. Mr. Landis.
Yeah, I'll be quick. 6:30, enough has been said about this issue. I just wanted to clarify just a few things. One, the East Baton Rouge Parish School Board is a policy-making body. There were several policies, at least one that was brought up saying, let's come up with an RFQ process. And no time that I say, Superintendent Cole, you got to do this, or you got to select this organization. That never took place, not once. No one told him who to select. That would be micromanaging. What we simply said is, let's make the process fair, because that's our job, is to make sure that if there's any other organizations out there that can do the work, and we haven't properly vetted those organizations, let's have a discussion about it. I said before, if we don't, when is the deadline to start using the funds? Or when do we have to start using the funds, Superintendent Cole?
During the academic school year.
During the academic school year. So if we start in August, will that hurt the kids? Or let's say, I'm sorry, September.
Well, I can't answer that hypothetical, but what I will say, the earlier the better, and if we start in September, that's early.
Right. So what's the first day of school?
August 7th.
All right, so August 7th is the first day of school. I'm opting to believe or think that this program probably, even if we approve this tonight, it wouldn't get started exactly right on at the beginning of the school year. They need at least 2 weeks time frame, one for school students and teachers to be accommodated back inside of the school building. So I would imagine it'll get started, if I had to guess, this is my former teacher hat I'm putting on right now, it'll get started at the end of August, early September. So when people say we're hurting students, I don't see the need in how we're hurting students. That we're just saying, let's have some conversation about it, because some people didn't know. And just because we approved it at the committee of the whole, that just means that we voted to move it along. That didn't mean we were going to vote to approve it, because I would opt to say that the same results would have been the same thing had we approved this or had this item come up for absolute approval last week. Another thing that I want to clarify, and I want to be able to clear this up too. We said that any student is available to apply for these ACT programs. My understanding is that it is GPA specific. If a student has a 1.5, and I need somebody to clarify this for me, can they enroll inside of the program? Now, that's the reason why I'm bringing this up.
ACT prep, yes.
For ACT prep, any student, because this is a conversation that happened before, that certain students could get in and certain students couldn't.
That's for the bigger program, for college scholarships and all of that sort of thing. The ACT prep is open to everybody.
Okay, so ACT prep is open to everybody. I want to have a further discussion with the organization so I can clarify. And I think that it should be clarified for our entire board, because this information wasn't privy to me. I didn't know anything about that. My understanding was that it was not that it was GPA specific. And I would love to know that if there is a student that has a 1.5, and I want to hear this from a particular organization, if a student has a 1.5, they can enroll inside of the program. And we're going to serve all kids on all campuses. Because remember, you're talking about, you said it before, it's in North Baton Rouge schools, Glen Oaks High School, Scotlandville High School, Terra High School. That make a phenomenal trends in going in the right direction. But I want to make sure no kid is cut out of the process, which is why I said, let's have a further discussion to see what are the options we have available as well. I'm going to just stop there. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Lewis?
You know, there's been a lot of talk about the state put this money out there, okay? Last year, the state put out $30 million for high-dose tutoring in the spring. Nobody was upset about the state putting out $30 million in the spring when no academic profiles had been created on students. We didn't know, they didn't even have enough vendors to serve all the students. $30 million for high-dose tutoring. But that was okay. We had board members who met with people that were lobbying for the bill, who never said a word to anybody in this room until the lady stood down here at the microphone. So $30 million for high-dose tutoring. And I visited principals, and they didn't know when the people were there and when they weren't there. You know, just throwing that out there. 30 million. And I would love to see the success rate of that. I wonder how we did in East Baton Rouge Parish, because we had a grant for $1.7 million, and that particular vendor wanted $700,000 up front and hadn't spoken to one child or performed one academic profile on a student. Again, the bank is closed.
Mr. Martin? Mr. Goday?
Yes, just as a follow-up, I want to quote a couple of things from the contract that is in board docs, just to clear up exactly what this contract provides. ACT Prep, BRYC, will deliver ACT Prep elective for 220 juniors across 10 high schools. But this is far more than test prep. It's the foundational experience in which students will build core academic skills, prepare for test day execution, identify post-secondary pathways, and access enrichment opportunities like fly-in and related summer commitments. Class also includes access to UWorld Mastery Prep's digital resource library and targeted instruction based upon detailed diagnostic testing. So that is the full-bore BRYC thing. The other is the advising approximately 1,380 seniors within the 10 schools who are not enrolled in the BRYC CAP course, that's the one we talked about earlier, will have access to office hour style post-secondary counseling delivered by a BRYC director. Furthermore, these students and their families will have access to BRYC's library of digital post-secondary readiness resources. So that's open to everybody. Lastly, District PD, and this is one of my keys, strategic partnership. BRYC is prepared to deliver quarterly professional development workshops on topics most relevant to the given audience. Further, BRYC is excited to work closely with the district's counseling office with the intent to have collective impact that drives district-wide post-secondary and career readiness. So I think it's clear in the contract that the services of BRYC is open to all students, all seniors that are coming in here for the ACT Prep. It is a more concentrated dosage for a certain number of students, which may be some of the issues here. But again, I come back to, we don't have the bandwidth or the resources to do this internally. As much as we might like to do it internally, we don't have the ability to do it internally right now. And it's not something I would ever vote to do internally until we have at least half of our students at mastery or above, because we need to be focused on teaching the basics. ACT Prep is nice and it's worthwhile and it's something good to do, but it doesn't replace learning how to read or write. Okay, and to me, that's the kinds of things we ought to be focused on. Again, discussion I'm more than willing to have, but this discussion needs to be had at the retreat for the board, where we talk about how to go about doing these things, not 2 weeks before school starts. So I just hope everyone thinks about that. And yes, stuff can start in September, but just because the stuff goes into class, you got a lot of prep work that comes into getting all the materials together, doing all these sorts of things. You got people on the payroll that are going to be there doing that. So the world doesn't start as soon as the people go into the classroom. It starts way before. I guarantee you they're working on what they're going to be providing right now into these programs. So to me, to think of that, hey, if we don't get this approved to the end of August, that there won't be, maybe it's recoverable, Maybe it's not, I don't know. But I don't want to risk the advancement of our kids on that maybe. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gode. And just let me say this, after listening to all of my colleagues and basically having an understanding of where we are and the effects of the decisions that we made, just like the previous item, which Attorney Shamlin mentioned that, of course, we have some board members that aren't here, and based off of a little bit more conversation, we can bring this back if it doesn't pass tonight with those other board members here to have a little bit more conversation. So with that being said, Madam Secretary. Yes, we do.
I'm sorry, just one more point of clarification. The board president can set a special meeting if need be to bring this item back and vote on in January before the cow.
In January.
I don't know what I'm thinking about. I'm sorry. Just getting I'm sorry, in August.
Yes.
Okay, so when we talk about starting before school and it's not going to start on time, it's still possible. I just wanted to say that for the record. Thank you.
With the condition that 2/3 vote to approve the item
Right.
being considered, yes.
Edgenuity also has ACT prep embedded into it. All of our schools have Edgenuity.
So in that time, I think some conversations can happen, and we still have enough adequate time to discuss this and bring it back in the right amount of time so students don't miss any available programming. I just wanted to again say that for the record.
And since we broke into the queue, and then Superintendent Cole, it was the recommendation to go with BRYC and not with Ingenuity. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So if the Ingenuity wanted to do it, there's nothing stopping them from doing it. But we have a superintendent for a reason. Thank you.
And I want to say this, the ACT prep within the Edgenuity is available within the Edgenuity platform. So I just wanted to make that clear. It's available within the platform.
I would never tell you who to pick, Superintendent Cole. I just said let's advance the conversation.
Madam Secretary.
Please vote. Can you refresh it? The motion fails.
Item G, organizational items. Mr. Martin.
Announcement of meetings. Committee of the Whole meeting to be held on August 7th, 2025 at the Central Office Boardroom. Regular meeting to be held on August 21st, 2025 at the Central Office Boardroom.
And Coach, we are
adjourned.
Thank you, guys.